welcome back to another episode of Live Shaligrams. We're going to talk about this shaligram first, and we got several. Okay. Just let it sit there. And put it in my hand real quick. There we go. Just trying to get it to focus. So it's a little dark in there. So obviously we have this opening, right? Which kind of looks like up on the top there would be a chakra, but it really isn't formed like a chakra. Okay, so I've been looking at this one quite a bit. It's pretty interesting. Surprisingly, honestly, I didn't even see a bunch of things on it in terms of what I'm going to point out. So, pretty excited, honestly, how cool this one is. Mostly, it looked like this part was curious. Like, this is abnormal already. Like, let's just say this is a chakra. Just hypothesize that sort of an Ammonite was forming in here. But then it's got this weird... This path on the top comes down and continues down here. There. So that's a little odd, I thought. Then it's got all this bumpiness to it. So let me just set it there again. Notice it rests there. So that's something interesting about it. It rests there, but then if I go like this, it rests on that side. It's not picking up the fine detail very well. There it goes. And then if I put it over here, it rests on that side. A lot of shaligrams really just have two sides, that, like top and bottom, essentially, that they would optimally rest on. Nothing else is stable. This one has three. I thought that was interesting. I don't know what to make of it, but we'll get back to that. I just thought I'd point it out real quick. So then, here, if we turn it a bit, let me put it in my hand. I'm really working in like a tight space here to try to get it. This has this like center area that's not eroded, but then it goes out over here and around and up here, kind of like an Ammonite shaligram structure will do. And if we look up here, there's a little erosion path right here. So if we envision all of that is like one lobe. So it's kind of forming a second shaligram there, a second Ammonite. Like that, saying this opening is one. Let's just say that for now. And then it's forming this lobe over here with kind of like a nucleus section in the center that's less eroded. We even see little lines up and down there. And down there, like little do, kind of like teeth of a shaligram. And then over here, a second lobe. But what's really interesting is if we keep turning this, set it on this face, we see that, oh, I guess we can't set it on this face, but if we go to here, we see a very similar thing happening, where it's got the nucleus section that's less eroded, and then like a wall and a wall, a strip of erosion on each side of this, with a top boundary and a bottom boundary that like dot 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 connects over to there, and then a lobe out this way that goes around there to here, and then over here another lobe this way down there. Notice it's got this little erosion path, this one, and this one, kind of like three-pronged from down here, like off of this area. 1, 2, 3. A little odd. So it's really, like, really defined in terms of another erosional ammonite structure forming here. Try to get that in closer. We're going through a magnifying glass too, so so notice though this lobe, the nucleus area here, and then the lobe, or the chakra area here, and the lobe continues, and where does it go to? But that opening, and then the far side up this way actually is the left side of this chakra nucleus area that's just below here. So we've got this, the actual opening, then we've got a nucleus with two lobes here, where like the side of this nucleus, where it, from that comes off a lobe, is actually a portion of this one's lobe structure that's going up this way. But then this continues up here, so if we just keep that in mind when we look at it from this angle, up this way, and then it spreads out maybe, and then over this way, all the way over here, where it goes right to here. So there, it's connected, like this lobe is connected to over here, and notice right here, if we look at it here, this way is like a little, it's like a V shape in the erosion, where this part is less eroded here and over here, and between it in a widening way is this more eroded area. That basically goes along this path right to the corner here. While the other side goes up this way to here. And looks like it starts to widen over this way. But if we just follow it like that way, it's not really following the boundary anymore. But if we turn, it's really pointing right at that chakra. if it's a chakra. And then if we look over here at this lobe, it's going out from this nucleus, this here, out this way, up this way, and around here. It doesn't really stop there, the erosion continues. Like it's an even larger lobe going out this way. Then it hits like a portion of the rock where it can kind of go around. Like it's no longer on the surface as much. On the same surface, it's more going around the rock. So it's essentially no longer, like is typical in Ammonites and Shaligrams, it's no longer able to erode the same. So it kind of just seizes the process over there. But if we follow it, that way, it basically goes to up here. So this is the different one. This is this one. That goes to that nucleus where the lobe comes off and the other lobe. Where the other one went over to here. So they're essentially, and this system is wrapping around the stone and interacting with itself this way and this way. And notice we got a pretty good angle of it here. It's, let me see if I can get it better in terms of the this way. There's channels, like little, kind of like the shape of the toothpick, kind of erosion patterns, one after another, that go into this area. It's a little hard to capture it on the camera, especially in this setup. But so, I can't really show it, but what's interesting, if I go like this and stand it on this side, this flat face, like if I push on the rock so that that flat face is like all touching the surface right now, and I let it actually reach a balance point. The balance point is not on that flat face, it's actually right here along this crack, along the base of this nucleus structure. This area of the rock is where it's stable on this surface. Not just like across this whole surface, touching the desk. It's actually more stable there on that spot. Also, there's this crack dividing it here. So my thought is, like, this is not actually a typical Ammonite structure inside, because it's really not. It's the interaction of all these other Ammonite structures that are trying to erode into the surface of the stone that are then actually creating this structure here more so. And maybe in other conditions it would have produced an Ammonite structure, but in this one it really didn't. Like this, where it would be a chakra is actually all like smooth across this way. From there all the way over to there is all just like one flat surface right there. Maybe it had a chakra, maybe I just don't see any actual related chakra features. So it's very odd in that regard. Really cool Shaligram. I love it. I love it. I love you, Shaligram. This here looks kind of like a lobe. The chakra and another lobe, tiny one. That could have formed a ammonite structure, but it didn't because of the circumstances. Like, it was, I guess, overwhelmed over here, but overflowing this way to feed into another system, maybe. Like current coming out of here, going across into here, went back over this way, excess current, and that's that kind of thing. So that's a new Shaligram I recently received. Pretty stoked to be able to share it. This one I've came across, I've talked about in passing in one of my Shaligram videos I mentioned recently. I think I got this Shaligram. Yep, I did. So I got a chance to look at this one a bit more too. Really helps for some reason if I hold it like this in terms of the focus. So what I thought was the most exceptional about this one, if I can get it to focus, is these ribs are not alone. There's other ribs in there. And these ones are going left to right. These are going in the direction of the toothpick inside. So if this is formed by a shell of a fossilizing shell, it doesn't really make sense. Because what's that in there? Why are there other lines like these inside? Can see it there. Can see it there for sure. That's real clear. Then it's got this little mass that we can see from this angle has the dendrites, although the lighting is maybe at the wrong spot for this. There we go. You see dendrites in there, sort of like this over here. So they're in two places. Down there. It's got a bulk mass kind of thing, similar to this, just at different tiers. Like this inner one, this is all that's left, is this little chunk. Almost like a single chamber of many chambers that the rest are removed kind of looking thing. So that's going on. And then if we look at it from this angle, hopefully we can see it. Anything where it's long-wise is probably going to be a little close to the camera. I might need to kind of boop. There's the magnifying glass. bad. Okay. For some reason the lighting's just not even... It's really hard to set this up. Might not get to see in there very well. In this area. So it's just typical dendritic kind of thing mostly. But curiously, which we don't really need to see from that angle, from that erosion like around this base, around it, underneath it, eroding underneath this mass, creating this mass, shaping this mass, the erosion pattern goes around it, but then it like gets out of the rock here and goes along this path over here, where then it reaches that spot where there's the sideways patterns. Backside is pretty much smooth. It's got some features, but nothing especially revealing. There's a little missing bit there, a little curious feature there that looks like maybe like a rib, like current underneath was shaping ribs like these. Like these. Or like up here. Doing this. But here, where it actually broke through the rock and created that shape maybe, I don't know. It's hard to say with as much as we can see of it. I never asked to be a finger model. And look at this paper just getting little bits of shaligram on it. So this one's from Mangalam Jewelry. Those were from at eBay. From Kohilor Gems or something. This one's cool because I can kind of do that. Boop. Boop. Wow, look at the light around it. Oh, that's so cool. The shadow. What? What? That shadow is so cool. So it's not... It's smooth on this side. It's not especially like revealing. It's pretty much traditional Ammonite looking. It's not one that I would say is proof they're not fossils. It looks more like a traditional so-called fossil to a point where there's not anything that I have like noticed especially. One second. That really like distinguishes in not fossils, not a fossil. I did see this crack. Kind of looks ammonite like around this way. Like it's got a path here. Path here. That's even got this rounded bit. And then maybe another rounded bit that way. That dot kind of connects back. almost like creating something more like this, but like not part of the Ammonite so much. It is, looking at the side, it's only like half formed. From a fossil standpoint, it would just say to be eroded. But it's really only just like half formed. Then it's got those things. Let's just spin it one more time because this shadow is so cool. Oh, what? I'm like trying to understand how this stone is casting that shadow. I mean, maybe because this magnifying glass has like a light periodically around it, little LED lights. Let's turn off this light over here. Let's turn on this light. Turn off the LED light, maybe. Look at it. In UV. Wow. It's really crazy. It's gotta be all the little LED lights, but it's really creating like what looks like a torus field, like a magnetic field kind of structure in the shadow. That is incredible. Okay. Whatever that might mean, I don't know. Okay, before I just sit here spinning this. This one. Sorry, Shaligram, up here. That's a sacred stone, man. You're just spinning it. Just a spinning. Just a spinning. So notice it looks like the boundary of this, like spiraling around, goes here. But really the whole rock over here and around takes the same shape. I thought that was pretty cool. And it's very flat in that section. And then just the way this is, I think when we were looking at those scholar stones in my last video, I came across that structure where it's got like a chakra area that's like this, and then a lobe area that went sideways that I was talking about, that looked like a Y but with both sides. But really one side was more defined and the other was subtle, if there. I just kind of figured it was there, I think. I don't know if it was actually visible, I can't remember. But we can see the Ammonite structure there. Let's see, I haven't really inspected this one all that much. Looks like this piece is actually breaking off. Possibly was broken across here. It might have been like glued back on, who knows. Or whatever the material they use to re-adhere pieces of Shaligram together. Because it looks like it was broken clean. Across that way. Sorry if you can't see very well what I'm looking at. So this one also has 3 sides that I can stand on. This side, and probably They must have something over here. Maybe, no, I guess like that, but more likely there. And it looks like it's forming the sutures over here. Probably something in the way these patterns are too. It's possible along this flat face right here, before it arcs down at this bend. It's got a more flat face up here going across that then kind of merges with this over in this area. Although it has like a boundary still. It's possible there's some subtle erosions that are related to these shapes. I'm not sure if I'm seeing it or I don't see it really, but like, did this break right here? It feels pretty smooth, like right there, where this was probably the outside of the rock. It's very similar to this feel, whereas where it broke here is clearly got all the inner structure more visible. Oh, the shadows again are just so cool. I really like just the way this one looks. I don't think it's like the most potent maybe in terms of disproving all of science, but this is the first one I've gotten of this structure. It's got two halves. This one is the positive mass. This one's got it. It's missing. This is just like the shell that broke off of this. So this would be considered a baculite. But if you look right here, going this way. Let's look at it at this angle. Going this way. And then over here, going this way. It's almost like another one. That just, like, subtly formed. Okay, I had to clear my throat a little bit. Frickin' A. But we can even see some like features going across this way, like top to bottom. Really subtle. Almost like it was beginning to create the layering through it. Just kind of turn it. It's pretty much just looks like a stone on this face. It's a little bit tooth-like structure, wiggle. A little wiggle there. Little wiggle. With maybe even a subtler wiggle right across there. Above it. And if we can look at this side, I don't know if we can. So remember, there's a potential subtle baculite shape here, like this. But here, that didn't form completely. Mind you, this is like a current path through the stone from pole to pole, basically, where the stone behaves like a planet, having poles. That forms an actual conduit from pole to pole, and this one was also forming, but it was not the stable one. This is the one that really formed, but this formed enough where it had the structure forming. If we look at the top, it's got some arcing here. Around this way to there, that if we just envision it like continues arcing around to like there, and maybe a third one back behind it in that next area. I really can't point at things at this angle. Over here looks like maybe another one. Some interesting little current paths in that general area, looking like they're fanning out from there, from the, like along this way, going like there. Oh, I never noticed these like little ribs up here. I gotta look at this real quick. It doesn't seem to have any surface roughness that the toothpick is catching on. Where that white layer. It's really hard to capture that though. So there's that, and then I guess let's check out this side. So these just go like this. Top overall is like this. Oh no, am I scratching? I might have scratched that. Oh no. But I didn't scratch with the magnifying glass. Rubbing rocks on it. But it's kind of interesting. Like, it almost feels like it's coupled. Like magnetically. That's what Reed suggested, magnetically. I think like if they taking the two stones and moving them past one another, very proximal, but not actually making the two pieces come back together, actually feels like a resistance happens as they approach one another. That's kind of what I felt, at least. I don't know if it's real or imaginative or whatever. Something I'm just kind of, oh yeah, these stones weigh more than, these are so heavy. They're so light. Something. Just so dense with energy. So here's this face. We kind of just see this shell that broke off. That was more attached to this one. Again, we see this boundary though. Over on this side. That comes to generally to a point, although it looks kind of bottlenecky, like a bottle more so. Lots of little subtleties around the boundary. I guess they hit it with a hammered or some kind of whatever they hit Shaligrams with. To sometimes some people will bust them open to access the interior and see what it looks like inside. So they probably hit it. This one probably got hit there, chipped off. Something interesting going on over there. Reminiscent again of the Chinese scholar stones we looked at in the last one. Okay, let's keep going. Let's keep going. This one. This is probably broken in half. Like it feels broken. Like it's not. It's kind of got some surface roughness here. It's pretty flat, so if I let it, that's it can balance there. It can also balance there. But notice there's that opening there that goes through. It's got like these teeth structures. That's interesting. Really eroded there. Sharply eroded, but then we see this path continues here. And a boundary over here, almost like there were two regions to whatever was happening there to create that really strong erosion channel. And then next to that is this, which actually, if we look out over here, looks like a lobe. Like imagine a chakra here that has a lobe, ignoring the opening, just generally the shape, including the erosion pattern right there. It looks kind of like a lobe shape. Bunch of little features on this. I don't know what to make of this one all that much. That's pretty interesting. That's pretty interesting. Looks kind of like a lobe, smaller lobe, chakra. to... There we go. Maybe I'll turn it too, see if that helps. Definitely was making an Ammonite structure there across this whole width. And then this here is really pronounced chunk. It looks like it ends. It's a little too dark to see it on the camera, I think. But it does end in the darkness there, like right there, like past there. So it only goes down a bit. In terms of the chunk in the middle, the hole itself continues further than the chunk in the middle does. This one goes about that far in. For that hole. Another hole. Some stuff going on there. Okay, so that's that. Real quick. Got a prophecy stone too. I just thought it was cool. Off of Etsy. I forget from what shop, because it was prophecy stones. I wasn't all that paying attention to where all they're from. I don't have any pictures of them saved even. I just thought it was cool and cheap enough that I was like, alright. It's like $10. I could use one of those to inspect closely. Why not? Some of them look like tubes. So it almost suggests like a conduit, like the baculite ammonite structure, where there's a conduit that just is more tube-like. Just longer. These things, one after another in a row, that connect around some shell area, but have like a conduit area, almost like a rectum, and like it looks like a piece of poop. Some of them, I'm just like, dude, that just looks like a piece of poop. What earth process is that a waste product of? So that's cool. Okay. I don't know how good we can see this one. But I'll just real quick, ta-da! Physics of a Shaligram. Really, yeah. I tried it earlier. I was like, I don't think I can do this one at all. Because it's really from this angle more so to see a lot. Like we can, without me readjusting and resetting up for larger Shaligrams, I can't really show this one very well. This is long enough. It's hopefully not over 10 gigs. So I can upload to Rumble. I know when I do video like this, it seems to be really large files. So I got this one too. I already talked about this one though. See my physics of a Shaligram video for that one. This one's sitting in front of me, so maybe we'll just glance at it too. This one I've had for a while. I don't think we've seen it under a magnifying glass though, so why not? Just sliced. So cool. Smooth surface that is, I guess, protected from these currents relatively. And then just sliced into little bits. Got that there. That. Like, I can't find it. I'll move the rock like that way. That. Really tiny chakra. Little nucleus in there that maybe we can see. If I can. Yeah. Okay. Definitely want to end this now, though, because the file is probably big, and I want to make sure I can upload it. So, thanks for hanging out. Hope that was good enough video quality. I'll see you guys in the next one. I got some plans. I think we're going to move to some plants. Thinking about it. I'm going to get some Tulsi plants and just try to grow them, too, because they're considered, like, the co-part to Shaligrams, like a equal opposite, maybe, like yin-yang, maybe, aspects that I haven't really been, like, looking into. I'm like, maybe there's some kind of current flow element to the Tulsi plant that's really fundamental in the same way as Shaligrams are revealing of certain current flows. But before we get into that, I definitely want to talk about bamboo. So, okay. See you guys later. Thanks for hanging out. Peace out.